For Catherine Howard, Queen of England, the day was like any other. On the 1st of November 1541, she was in her sumptuous Queen's apartments at Hampton Court. Started by her cousin and fellow Queen Anne Boleyn, Catherine was the first queen to make full use of them. Hampton Court was a favoured palace of hers, as it was famously where she spent her first Christmas as queen, hosting not only the court, but her husband's ex-wife, Anne of Cleves. It was noted by all that she handled it beautifully. Whilst Catherine was in her apartments, enjoying time with her ladies, Archbishop Cranmer had left a letter on her husband's pew in the Chapel Royal. In it were details of Catherine's so-called indiscretions. Her husband, though not truly believing any of the content of the letter, ordered a full investigation. Catherine herself was ordered to keep to her rooms. She wasn't told why, but she was being kept under guard. It's easy to build the world around Catherine and know what part each person had to play in her fall. What we don't know is how Catherine was feeling herself. Did she immediately know why? She had none of the facts about her case that had propped up against her. Unlike Anne, who was told immediately, she had to wait to be informed about anything. After a few days of this nothingness and horrific tension, Catherine was finally made aware of what she was being accused of. The poor girl was in a state of utter and extreme stress. She altered from denying everything, remembering parts of it, back again, to then admitting to a prior relationship. It was the response of an utterly panicked young girl, and quite rightfully so. She was practically bullied into her responses by Archbishop Cranmer. His motivation was to topple the Catholic party at court. Catherine was really the sacrifice he had to make. She was locked away at Hampton Court in the Queen's apartments and wasn't allowed to leave. Some musicians turned up to offer her a diversion, but she turned them away as the time for merriment had passed. On Sunday the 6th, Catherine supposedly made her legendary escape from her apartments, all the way to the King's closet where she knew Henry would be. She wanted to see him, to plead, to get him to listen to her, as any human would. She was caught, and Henry watched her be dragged back to her rooms. I've always wondered if her cousin Anne was on her mind, and the fact she was barred from seeing Henry ever again after her arrest. On the 7th of November, her jewels were seized so they could be checked off against the royal records. This, I think, was the first visual reference for Catherine with regards to the breaking up of her household. On the 8th, she had been harassed enough to make a confession letter to the king. Cranmer corralled this from her after changing tack. He'd been brutal before with her, which made Catherine hysterical and frenzied. Being nicer, he extracted a confession. Then finally, on the 11th of November, Henry ordered his wife to leave Hampton Court for Sion House. She was only allowed basic clothes to take with her and minimal staff. Would Catherine have felt relief at moving somewhere other than the Tower? As Anne was arrested and sent there ASAP, Catherine's case was already different. Or was she in such a state of terror, nothing much mattered either way?